I'm David. I'm from Calgary, well, mostly from Calgary, originally born and raised in Alberta. I do work in office furniture sales. So I'm an office furniture manufacturer that I'm the national sales manager for. In the fall of last year, I started noticing I was going downhill, just spiraling thoughts and overall just not a healthy attitude. And so at the time, I'm going to the gym, I'm going for walks, I'm doing all of these things that I've done over the years to stay healthy in my mind, to stay healthy for my body, but mostly for my mind. And all of that was taken away. And then also, being able to socialize and not being able to socialize with my friends. So I started going into depression, which I recognized from 10 years ago. I had been in depression before, but what was different this time was the anxiety that came with it. And I didn't know how to handle that. I get anxious about certain things, and I know that about myself, but this form of anxiety was different for me. And so, he was the one that pointed that out. My doctor was the one that actually pointed out, this is, sounds like you've got anxiety. And so after multiple visits with my doctor virtually, he said, I think it's time that we also get you into counseling. We were trying to do, for me, not to be on medication, which is what I wanted as well. So we went for a few visits at the Calgary Counseling Center. And at one point with my doctor, I finally just said, I think I still need the medication because I can't do the work. There's work to be done here, but I can't do it if I'm not focused. So it was a collaboration, I've got to say, between my doctor and being able to do with my doctor and then with Joel at the counseling center. Mine weren't so much physical symptoms that I was having. I've got to say it was mostly in my mind. I mean, my heart would race sometimes. I would be not feeling great about things. But the biggest thing for me was just the spiraling thoughts. And so when I say spiraling thoughts, I'm referring to, I would start with a random thought, and it would snowball into something so much greater than myself at warp speed that I couldn't focus on anything else. Like, I literally could not focus on anything else. My relationship with Joel was great. Initially, I was very hesitant, and I'm not one to open up. I'm not quick to do that. So I've got to say it probably took me about 3 times before I actually was able to open up and be comfortable enough to talk about certain things. I mean, he definitely got things out of me. There was tears shed. There was certain things in the process. Probably the second time was where my medication, where I started with that. Then the third time, I was just able to calm my mind down enough. So at that point, that's what we started to work on, because then I was able to do that work with him to say, okay, what are you thinking? Why are you thinking that? Where does that stem from? What purpose does that serve you? If you're saying this to yourself, what purpose does that serve? And at about the third or fourth, all of a sudden, during that meeting, during that time that we were chatting, the last 3 meetings that we met all made sense, and they all came together as one. And it actually, it was this culmination of, the light went on. The light definitely went on at that time. And that's where I was able to go, okay, I definitely can trust this process. I definitely can do that work. I definitely see where he was going with our conversations and why we were talking about the things we were talking about. I had to trust that Joel knows what he's doing. He's done this before. He's the pro in what he does. I'm the pro at what I do, and so I need to trust that. I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful to have gone through the process. I'm very thankful to come out the other end the way I have. Yeah, it certainly hasn't been easy. I still have my days. Oh dear God, I still have my days, but they don't last as long. I look at things in a different light now. It's different now. Given the opportunity to share the story, I just felt very, very strongly about it. It terrified me. I mean, this process is terrifying me, but it's also, I knew, a great way to grow in myself. But I feel so strongly about mental health, about people reaching out and getting the help that they need. And so I talk about it with people. I talk about it with my friends. I've talked about it with clients. It's like, yeah, I had a rough go. I needed to see a counselor. It's a fact. And I feel so strongly about it that I just, when given this opportunity, I went, yeah, I think that's one way I can give. That's one way I can just talk about and share my story, my experience. And I realize in chatting with other people and other friends that I'm not the only one that's going through this. We each have our own way and we each have our own story, but in many ways, we're all the same.